support you. Hence, I'm just mentioning some of these things. Now, coming to open access and open science, we support and promote open access and open science. We also explain perceptions around open access and data sharing. We do provide orientation or training about the quality journals as well as the awareness on predatory journals. Remember, there are fly-by-nights even within the academic environment. So we have engaged in this space to just make sure that you don't use other material. Hence, we keep on stressing, please make sure whatever that you use as a source to support your research, it must be accredited, meaning it's scholarly or peer-reviewed. Okay. With the predatory journals, we have a system where you can check. Let's say you have done your Google Scholar search and you are not sure if this article is coming from a journal that is accredited. We have a platform where you can search for those journals to ensure that you are using accredited material. Open access, it's very important. It's the language that we are speaking today, and it's a system that we are about today as publishers, as authors, as libraries. The Wits library has actually connected with other libraries. We call it a consortium, where we come together and try to find the easier ways of having you getting access to information that you would have paid for. So that part is covered by the university. Open education resources, they are there and they are available. You can Google it and anything. You can find a course, you can find actually they even tell you you can do this degree for nothing. I wonder how possible it is. So as a library, on open education resources, we are creating evaluation criteria that you can use before you can engage with that open education resource. We'll make that available in our LibGuides. With our how to see our quality journals, we have actually created a LibGuide that has a platform. Thanks to Northwest University, they've created a platform where they have brought all those platforms. We regard them as scholarly and peer-reviewed, where when you search a particular journal, you can be able to see if it's accredited or not. Institutional repository is one of the areas that we are using. It's a platform for you to, we upload your thesis and dissertation, depending on what you have produced at the end of your research. With the institutional repository, it's a public domain. So here, you are giving us a permission to let your thesis be accessible publicly. The advantage of doing this is to allow yourself to be recognized nationally and internationally. You might have found a solution that people have been looking for a long time. So depending on what your research report is about, you will be recognized because people will be using your thesis and they will be citing it. The more you are cited, the more you are recognized as an author. This also works with all open access material. The subscription-based material, they are cited depending, but open access material are cited more because they are freely available and they are scientific material. This includes our helping or assisting with your research data management, and I have spoken on open science, which is our open education resources. In terms of the training, we support you with face-to-face training, we do group and one-on-one. Remember the introduction that we will do as schools and faculties. That's where we will engage more with you. We have, in those training, we focus on subject and multidisciplinary electronic resources. So now you have these 241 databases, but we narrow them down according to the subject, and we give you the training on how to access and use them. Remember, the key ways of getting the information is to be able to find it, evaluate and use it, or apply it at the end of the day. In our trainings, we include reference management tools. I can just say one of my colleagues, our coordinator, actually she is a specialist in this one. And with the rest of our other colleagues, they are able to assist you whenever you need help. We do provide online training. We started this to be fully active during COVID. So we still provide those online training because we are fully aware that most of you are working. So that doesn't mean that it can stop you to get the training, which can be available via Teams, Zoom, or Ulwazi. And then we also developed tutorials. They are already there, the tutorials on our LIP guides. I said I will come back on the e-visibility and research visibility. Just to move faster, it's to say, we know that we are here as researchers. At the end of the day, you may publish whether a book or an article. While you are studying, NRF has a statement that says you need to have ORCID ID. This is your e-profile, including your Google Scholar citation profile and your social media. So if you create your e-profile, you are helping yourself. Is the mic still? Okay. You are helping yourself to create and maintain the online presence. This is just an example of, this is a LIP guide and showing you how to go about. In that e-profile, when you do your ORCID, your Google Scholar, and your social media, the academic social media, you need also to create your Scopus and Web of Science as your profile. They are all interlinked at the end of the day. Our discovery services, how to search and get the material in the library. We have from the library page our tools that you can use. There is your eVets catalog, which concentrates on what we have and own as vets. But this one on the homepage, when you search here, it takes you to a platform which allows you to search across databases, whether we own or have bought that particular material. Moving forward, still on the library page, you get your My Library app that I mentioned, and still you can access your research support LIP guide here and the rest of the other links that you can see. The eVets catalog, this one, I said it allows you to search what we own. This is our Salmon discovery tool, where you get access to whatever that is out there in terms of information resources. It shows you the details. I'm not going to take you through, just to show you the tool that we have. In case you open an article as PDF or full text, you will still get this platform. It connects you to the full text here. Our self-checkout machines are available in all our libraries. You will see these two different types. We are there to assist you at the beginning to know how to use these self-checkout machines. What is the future of the library? We just picked two examples. that we don't have in that. There is called Fingerlink, where you can digitally scan a print material. And then we have what we call book, which allows you to have access to our physical books 24/7. How the system works, we'll explain it then. You can borrow a book, but you get to keep your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Bomi. Thank you to all the librarians. Our next speaker has a meeting with the VC, so we have to get him up here as quickly as possible. So I'm going to ask you if you have questions, and I have some questions about the library. I've learned something that I learned a couple of things I didn't know. To please keep them for the end. While I invite Dr. Mohammed Muller, he is the head of strategic partnerships at Wits. And as you would have heard this morning, we are really, really invested in student mobility. We really want our students to have a sense of being global citizens, giving them the capacity to travel. So that's one small aspect. The other is joint degrees. So we're invested in partnering with other universities that share our values and our skill sets and complement our skill sets to create degrees that you will get both badges on your output certificates. So you get a PhD, say for example, from Wits and the University of Edinburgh. So I'm going to ask Mohammed to talk more about that. I'm just going to quickly tell you a little bit about him. He has a PhD in science education from Wits. He's been elected a full member of the International Global Research Academy based in Moscow. That's okay. He also has extensive knowledge on issues like service learning and university rankings. At present, he's the head of internationalization and strategic partnerships. He's very busy, so thank you, Mohammed.
Afternoon. So as Brett said, I'm the head of what's called internationalization and strategic partnerships. I'm here to talk about opportunities for you as postgraduate students to study abroad. Now, study abroad has two meanings. One is physically studying abroad, going overseas for 6 months. And the second one is to do things virtually. So we have a number of exchange agreements with a number of international universities. If you go to our website, I'll tell you about that later. You'll see all the universities that we have links with. It's over about 200 universities. Now, within the context of these partnerships, we encourage you to spend some of your time at one of our partner universities to do your research at that university, or maybe sometimes just to do a module at one of our partner universities virtually. So there are many modules that you can do for free at some of our partner universities, and these are things that we might not have the expertise at Wits to offer a course in that topic. And you might be interested in doing that topic, so you can do the topic at the partner university. You don't pay any fees for that. Sometimes you can get a credit for that onto your honors or your master. Others, you're just doing it to get knowledge, so it's up to you. If you want to get a credit, then you obviously have to talk to your school to see if you will get a credit for doing that. If you don't get a credit, you will get a badge, because a lot of these things nowadays, a lot of qualifications go on to badges. So you can collect a number of badges, and then when you apply for work, you give your university degree, and you also give all your badges to say, I've done the following courses and I've got the following badges. So that's what I want to talk about. Now, why would you want to go and study abroad? Obviously to get international experience, and you get a different academic environment that you work in. I always tell people, you can't be like me and did all your studies at Wits. Then you only know anything about Wits. You know nothing about any other university. You don't know how things work. You think the world is Wits. Everybody works the way that Wits works. But that's not the world. So you've got to go somewhere in your studies, from your bachelor's till your PhD. One of your qualifications should be from some other place. Or if you can't do that, then go and spend 6 months at another university. So you can go and spend 6 months. Obviously, part of the thing will be that you will then be able to enjoy the sights in that country and meet new people and all of that, and you will network with people and all of that. Now, if you want to go overseas through our office, the key thing is that you need to have a 60% average in your academics. If you're not making a 60, most of you, because you're postgraduates, you already got a 60% average because there's a requirement to be a postgraduate. So you're all eligible, right? But now what I'm saying is once you're in your honors or in your masters, when you have written exams in the first semester or whatever, now if you drop from 60, then you're not eligible. So we look at your latest results and you must maintain that 60%. Now, if you choose an institution where we have an agreement with that university, you can study at that institution as an exchange student based on reciprocity. And you will register and be liable for tuition fees at Wits. Your tuition fees abroad will be waived. So what happens is that if you want to study in Europe, the fees are much, much, much more because let's say it's in euros, so you're timesing by 17. So you don't have to times by 17, 19, 20, whatever. You pay the fees at Wits, and then you go and study at that university. Similarly, day students pay their fees at their university and come here. So at the moment, I'm talking about last year, we've been getting about 40 students coming per semester from overseas, and we've been sending about 30. Now we want to increase this. So as of this year, we want to send something like 100 minimum per semester. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to go. There are also agreements with universities where we don't have this type of agreement, but we still have agreements. But now when you go to those universities, you must pay your fees there. So if you have the means, then you can come and talk to us and we can see and then we'll tell you how much it would cost and then you can go. Now, where are these universities? They are all over the world. So we start on the left-hand side of the world in the traditional map from Canada coming down to USA, right down to Brazil, to Argentina, to Chile, the whole of Europe, whole of Africa, whole of Asia. We've got partners everywhere. So if you're interested in some country, come and see us. Now, this one you're going to be more interested in. There's an agreement called Erasmus Plus. Erasmus Plus is an agreement with European universities. And what happens with an Erasmus Plus is if you get selected to be an Erasmus Plus student, you don't have to worry about anything because they will pay for your airfare, they will pay for your accommodation, and they will give you a stipend to live wherever you are. So you get a living allowance. So your airfare, your accommodation, and your living allowance, and it's for 6 months. So students can go for 6 months. You can go at any level, so normally you could go from your bachelor level. Some of you might have been bachelor students at Wits and you didn't even know that that was available. So you can do that now as an honor student, a master student, a PhD student. You just need to know which university and then come and talk to us and then we'll tell you yes, it's available, it's not available. Now, where do you find out who are all these people? You go to the normal Wits website, www.wits.ac.za, and there's just one simple thing, that's why I didn't even make a slide, /study abroad. So you go to the Wits website, /study abroad, and all the information is there. So once you get there, you can see who the partner, you can see all these things. There is another website that you need to look at because the Study Abroad website is, I must still tell you where our offices are, but the Study Abroad is a sister organization at Wits. It's their website. We have our own website, which is under the research office. So you just search Wits /research. You will find there's a map there of all Wits' partners all over the world. Now, I forgot to tell you this right at the start. So if you want to come and see us, we're not far away from here. You go into Solomon Mshango building. On the ground floor where Senk is, just before Senk, you will find the international office. In the international office, there are 2 sister offices. One is called the International Students Office, and the other one is our office called the Internationalization and Strategic Partnerships Office. You walk in there, you talk to the receptionist, and if somebody is available, they will let you talk to us. Otherwise, you make an appointment and you come. Now, there are a number of these virtual courses that I was talking about that you can do. And these courses also include what's called summer schools and winter schools. So it's summer in the northern hemisphere, so those would be in June and July. It would normally be when we have our break between first semester and second semester. You could go to some of these summer schools. As Wits students, you wouldn't have to pay anything in terms of fees, but you'll have to pay for your airfare and your accommodation. Sometimes you don't have to pay for the accommodations, depends on where the thing is. Some universities will provide the accommodation. So there are 4 main places that we do this with. One is called OSUN, O-S-U-N, Open University, Open Society University Network. It's a group of about 50 universities from all over the world, and they offer a lot of these virtual courses, and they offer a lot of summer schools and winter schools. So winter schools will be when it's our summer, so it will be in December. The best thing to do is, if you're interested in doing something like that, is to talk to your supervisor, because now that you're a postgraduate student, you will have a supervisor. So go to your supervisor and talk to your supervisor to say, look, I'm interested in doing something, and then your supervisor will tell you how to get all of the OSUN things. If they don't, then they will contact us and we'll tell you. Then another group that we work with is called CIVIS. CIVIS is a group of 11 big name universities in Europe. They offer a number of courses that you can get credits. Even OSUN you can get credits, or you can just get badges, and in CIVIS you can also get badges. The beauty of CIVIS is you can register as a Wits student onto CIVIS, and they will then keep a repository of all your badges. And if you do other courses, let's say you do something through Microsoft or you do something through some other organization, you can deposit your badge with CIVIS under your name, and it will all be kept there for you. And when you go to work, you're applying for work, you can just draw all your badges out of service and put it onto your CV. So it's a good thing to do. Then there's the Association of Commonwealth Universities that we work with. There are summer schools, there are winter schools. There are also opportunities to do PhDs overseas, which we try to discourage. We don't want you to go and study somewhere else. We want to keep you here at Wits. But anyway, if you want to go overseas, you can go through the Association of Commonwealth Universities. They give you enough funds. They'll pay for everything. And then we also belong to a group called the African Research Universities Alliance. It's a group of 16 research-intensive universities on the continent of Africa, and we do a lot of work with those universities. 6 of them are in, together with us, make 6. 6 are in South Africa, the other 10 are in Africa. So even if you want to do some research for your honors, masters, PhD, and you want to do some research in one of the African countries and you need a lead, you can always come and talk to us, and we'll put you in touch with somebody in one of these countries, and then you can do your research in that country if you want. So that's the type of things we can help you with. So I have maybe 10 more minutes. You can ask me anything that you want, because as Brett said, I need to be with the VC in about 10 minutes time.
Thanks, Mohammed. So any questions for Mohammed? What tends to happen is people leave here with their PhDs and they say, and I say, but did you get to travel? And they say, well, we didn't know, we could, right? So the point of this is not to have that happen. The point of that is for all of you to know that there are these international opportunities for our postgraduate students. So if you're sitting and have a question, this is the person to ask. Any questions about international exchange, international students, international student life?
Maybe while you're thinking about the questions, just Brett mentioned this earlier, there are opportunities to do what's called joint degrees. So you can do a joint master's. I don't think there's a joint honors, because honors are not degrees that are offered overseas. Honors is a South African peculiar degree. But a master's or a PhD, you could do a joint master's or a PhD with another university, where you have a supervisor from Wits and a supervisor from our partner university. And in the end, you will get a scroll that will have a Wits emblem on it and the emblem of the partner university. So you basically could end up getting an Oxford University degree at the price of a Wits degree. Right? Or you could get a Makerere University degree or a University of Ghana. We have all of them in Africa, so you can do it with University of Nairobi, University of Dar es Salaam, University of Edinburgh, in Scotland, University of Tübingen in Germany. There's many of these universities. If we don't have a joint degree in the area in which you are interested, you then talk to your supervisor, who will then talk to the head of school, who will talk to Brett and to me, and we will investigate whether we can do that for you. and because that would be more a research-based degree, so we can do it for you, and we can specifically tailor a joint master's or a PhD for you. And you don't pay the fees of that other university, you pay Wits' fees. And how that works is that normally you will have to spend some of your time at the other university, but it would be at your own expense.
So I've got old eyes. I'm not missing any hands, am I? Oh, right at the back. Can someone get a mic to the person right at the back there?
Hello.
Okay, can hear you clearly.
I just wanted to know if your research is South African based, is it still worth it to kind of just go for the experience and to experience a university overseas?
Yes and no. So no, in the sense that if you're doing some research in South Africa and you're going to go to a community in South Africa and do all your research there, obviously you want to be immersed in that community, but you can benefit by going overseas because people overseas do research all over the world. So there will be people that are interested in areas in South Africa. They will have a different perspective from what your South African supervisor might have. So it all depends on the area in which you're doing this, and it depends on whether you have the money to do it or whether you're going to a university where you have an agreement. What I forgot to say is that everything that I spoke about excludes health sciences. So if you're doing anything in health sciences, we don't encourage people to go overseas in the health sciences or in professional degrees like in accountancy and in actuarial studies and things like that. But engineering, yes, we encourage, especially engineering master students, we say yes, you can go overseas. But health sciences, it's difficult because then you've got to get accredited by the Health Council of South Africa and all those other things. And if you didn't do all your studies in this country, you have unnecessary problems. So those are exceptional cases. We do look at them, but we try to discourage them.
I can see your hand right at the back. Is the hand?
So normally, if you want to go overseas, remember that their academic years are different from ours. So their academic year already started in August. So nobody can go now. The next lot of students can go in July. So end of July, early August, which will be our second semester. So you need to start doing all your homework now, and the applications will open soon. You will see it on our websites. You will also see it on, these TVs that we have all over campus. As soon as applications open, we will put it on the TVs, and then you'll see. So generally, you can go in August, or you can go. I think you could have gone now in February, but that one was closed because the year started already overseas. Oh, the other thing that I forgot to say is twice a year we also have what we call a study abroad fair. So we will put notices up all over the campus where we have people like the British Council, the Campus France, we have the American Embassy, we have all these people coming to talk to students, and it's in a big room like this. They all make their presentations and give you all the various opportunities. So we have one in the first semester and one in the second semester. It will be advertised widely all over campus.
Maybe one last question, if I may.
Sorry, just screen out, I can't see you.
Am I audible?
Okay.
This side on your right. Yeah.
Okay.
Question around the OSAM network opportunities. The funding, how comprehensive is it? Does it include living expenses? The other thing is what would be some of the minimum criteria, and then should you be approved, how long would you have to spend in the different country? I think that's a primary question. So.
Okay, so as I said, there are two types of agreements. There's the Erasmus agreement, and then there's the other agreements. Some of the other agreements are similar to Erasmus, so I'd rather say the paid agreements and the unpaid agreements. Most of these agreements will allow you to, you have to stay there for 6 months because you have to do the courses and bring the credits back. So whatever courses you did, you bring them. We talk of not virtual now, we talk of physically going. You do courses, and those courses have to be pre-approved by your head of school. So you will talk to consultants in our office, and they will look at what you want to do. They will give you the list of all the courses at that university, and then you will say, you know what, this fits into my master's or my honors or whatever. Then you will go to your head of school with the list and say, I'm going to do these courses at that university for 6 months. Will I get credits for these? And then it will come and it will be part of your transcript and your facility also.
Okay, so, okay. All right, so thank you, Mohammed. You know where to find him, and I really do encourage you to make use of this. As I say, largely, I think these are undersubscribed, these opportunities, often. Now, how can it possibly be, you know? Even the fully funded opportunities are not taken up. They can only be a function of not knowing or not wanting to go, and I'm not sure that it's always about not wanting to go or being unable to go. So please do make an effort to take up these opportunities, and we will circulate them as they arrive in the research office. Yeah, we'll start to list them on our research office website. But we should, at the end of 2023, 2024, not have any undersubscribed international exchange programs, please. Thank you, Mohammed. Okay, so we have one last session, and it's very purposefully put at the last place in the morning and afternoon's program, and that's because, as the DVC said earlier, yes, you're scholars, yes, you're researchers, yes, you have greatness written all over you, but you're also human beings that have the same sort of struggles. You have struggles, financial struggles, emotional struggles, family struggles. A lot of challenges. Life is difficult. Life is particularly difficult in South Africa at the moment. And so we acknowledge that, and we want you to have access to a range of support services that will help you to navigate those challenges. If they can't help you, they will refer you to people that will help you. So I wanted to ask Sheikh you met earlier, Sheikh Mokhaladi, fondly known as Deputy Dean or DD, responds to that. I'm not going to shame him by asking him why he's not studying his PhD at Wits. Maybe he can end his session by telling you. But he does have a Master's in Commerce in Development Finance from UCT and a BCom in Financial and Business Management from UNISA. He's someone who is very friendly, someone who's always there to help, and so give him a big round of applause, please. We'll take questions for Sheikh Fatso and for the librarians after Sheikh Fatso. Thanks.
Hello again, it's me again. Yeah, so I'm going to try to be as fast as possible. The purpose of this session is just to take you through a range of support initiatives that are there in the university. We always do insist, as the Office of the Dean of Students, that we are not a dean or deputy dean of undergraduates only. We also are a dean and deputy dean or students who are in postgraduate studies, so we do really like to interact and have our students who are doing postgraduate studies interacting with us. So who are we? First, the student at first is just to give you a highlight as to how we are just a central division who holds a primary duty of care. We are responsible for student support, development and creation of an experience. When you live here at Wits, you must live with an experience. a particular experience that Wits impacted me in this way. So if you are lucky to have studied long enough here at Wits, you could already know what am I talking about. But if you are transitioning from another university to another, we will not take for granted that sitting in this room, there are students who are new at Wits altogether. So we are responsible in creating that beautiful and curating that beautiful experience for you. We also are engaged in a number of efforts to develop Wits students as leaders, and in development we mean holistic development, for them to become, engaged citizens who are, engaged in a range of things, who are pushing and at the forefront of championing democracy, social justice, as well as advancing critical thinking. Also play a very critical role in the co-creation of the student experience that is affirming of inclusive and intellectually stimulating and experience rooted in Wits values. So briefly, this is an organogram. The Dean of Students was here earlier. He was chairing the session earlier. Is Jerome September. He's a member of the senior executive team, reporting directly to the Vice Chancellor. And within the portfolio, we've got Wits Sport, and we've got Campus Health and Wellness, Campus Housing and Residential Life, Counseling and Career Development Unit. I hope some of the colleagues are in the room today. As well as lastly, we've got the Center for Student Development, which is going to be launched soon. So that is who we are, just at a higher level, just to give you the understanding of how we are structured. So there is plus minus 16,000 postgraduate students. This is the data that we took from the fact sheets, the 2020 and 2021 fact sheets. But in stats, it shows us that we at around 2021, we're about 16,624. We'll have that particular data coming through soon for the previous academic year, which is 2022. So we've got a job well cut out for us to provide support and try to touch all of you. That's essentially what we're trying to show in the previous slide. So through our Counseling and Career Development Unit, CCDU, as it is known around campus, we provide psychosocial support for our students. Earlier on, when we were talking in the panel, Ngobile, or one of the panelists, did mention that mental health is a very important area of our focus. So if you go and interact with states from SADC, you'll see that a number of our people in the country generally are having challenges with mental health and wellness. So we've got CCDU that looks primarily at the interest of our students. So you could go out there, reach out, seek help when you get to find yourself in an area where you are stuck. CCDU, they are very, very capable. They've got professionals as members of the staff complement, psychologists, social workers, as well as life coaches who will help you navigate whatever challenge that you'll be encountering at that time. They also do a number of advocacy activities around campus. We urge you as senior students, because this is very much important for our undergraduate students to see engaged senior students. So some of these particular campaigns, if they are led by you as senior students, it will be very interesting and attract attention. I've already related to mental health and wellness challenges. The strategy thereof is under review and is supposed to go to the senior executive team at the first retreat for potential endorsement, because there are a number of changes that we have considered. The same goes for the career strategy, which looks into preparing you to go into the world of work, how they package programs that are attractive to a variety of segments of our students in that manner. So they help with a lot of things, ranging from preparing you for job interviews, preparing your CV, as well as they've set up recently a very important job portal which posts jobs on ad hoc basis. We also have campus health and wellness that we need to be aware of. It is based in the matrix. It is headed by a professional nurse. We just finalized the process of appointing a replacement. Our sister who's down there, who's shown down there, used to be a head of this clinic, but she has left the university now and went on retirement. So we've just appointed a new head there. So they provide a range of services, just a baseline medical assessment, voluntary testing. This is a very, very, very good unit that we had. It was at the forefront of our. So anytime you want your basic health care to be attended to, please do go visit them, and surely they will attend to you. This is very important to us because we know that as PhD students, you hardly have any time to yourself. You hardly have time, Shem. You are going through the most. You can't even celebrate New Year, just in between things. You understand? So mental health and wellness is very much important. So through this strategy, we want to help you balance between your life and your studies. Don't be just gazed into this thing called PhD. Don't just be gazed in this thing called masters. Have time, have life. Take a walk, sit on the grass for a glass of wine sometimes on the afternoon, Have time, participate in sports, extracurricular activities. If you walk around campus, you'll see we've got purposely to strengthen our health and wellness strategy. We've got a lot of outdoor gyms. So if you feel that you're sitting for long in your room, you just want to go and just stretch your leg a bit, there is a number of outdoor gyms. They are free of charge. Please do visit them. Do not just sit and even celebrate a new year in this manner. We've got a very compact university sports. That sport is based in Starrock. It has got a range of sports offerings starting from elite sports. 5 of our teams are affiliated at the level of USA, participating in varsity sports, that is your soccer as well as your female soccer, rugby, and other 2 sporting codes that are affiliated at that particular level. We've produced a number of wonderful athletes as vets, and we are proud of them. A number of Olympians. The previous Olympics, we've had about 5 of those Olympians having been either vets alumni, some of them being present vets students. So that is an elite professional sports code that we have within the vets sport. We also pride ourselves that we have students who are doing well. One of our students has recently, Wandisile Simelani, is now in the first team of the current Lion as a player. So we're doing quite very well in that front. So do get involved with these sports and other activities. It's not a prison for only elite sport. If you just want to kick soccer on a Friday, you can group, you can organize among yourself. If you're full-time students, it is even working much better. Also, I've got student accommodation, and here I know this is where we're going to take a beating. Very limited accommodation for PG students, 189 beds at West Campus Village, it's West Campus, and we've got about 70 beds at International House. The priority in terms of the accommodation, you know that it's just a struggle. We try as much as possible to give priority to our first-year students in our limited vets control accommodation system. You will understand that being a cosmopolitan university as ourselves, it poses opportunities and challenges. So first-year students coming for the first time in this big city, they could be lost. So we try as much as possible. Our strategy is to have 50% of our vets accommodation facilities reserved for first year. So at least we try, Shem, with 189. we try, but I hope we understand. But over and above, Braamfontein presents an opportunity. We've got over 50 accredited buildings that provide about 21,000 plus beds. So as postgraduate students, you could potentially find a place to stay around. Our residentials generally, we do say, they are not just spaces for sleeping and eating. There are places and spaces for expression of creativity. They are also a living and learning spaces. We are creating them as purposely as a community for living and learning. We also want them to be nests of innovation. A lot of creativity and innovation came out of university residentials. So we do encourage postgraduate students to get involved, to create, innovate beyond what you are studying, and participate in what I'll talk about towards the end of my slides, student entrepreneurship, which is one of our big area of focus for this year. So we've got special projects as well. We know you're downloading a lot of articles, but reading very few of them. So when you have downloaded that much and reading this much, use part of the time that you have not spent reading some of this bulk to participate in some of our exciting special projects. Last year we have had a special project, one that focuses on interacting with our equals in South Africa and went above South Africa in the continent. We interacted with the University of Lagos, Makerere that Brett mentioned, university in Mauritius, as well as one university in India. Just to get a sense of an experience of what is postgraduate student life like in those particular contexts. We were doing so deliberately because we wanted to find out as to whether the challenges that we have are the same challenges that are encountered everywhere. Postgraduate funding, postgraduate accommodation, postgraduate employability. Those were the three things that we were focusing on. So we did that conversation with these particular 3 universities, and we normally do invite postgraduate to become a voice in those particular conversations. PGA was quite very vociferous in those kind of conversations, and we do extend sometimes an invite to general students to come and share experience, to say that if you think that we do not provide as much as support, let us come and have some sort of an African continental view, and lastly, even a regional view in South Africa and so forth. So that's what we do. There is a pre-orientation site that has been set up. I hope you have interacted with it to can understand what is the full layout of this university, particularly those of you colleagues who are coming from other universities. It is important that you interact with that particular site. We have a postgraduate clubs. Rebecca sitting here. I'm not sure if she's around. If you see her, please find more about it. Postgraduate clubs. If there's any book that drops on the shelf, if you are writing a book, well and good, do tell us. We like to invite you to a conversation cycle. We do it about once in a month or so. We try to, as much as possible, to squeeze it in our calendars. It was easy to do it online. Last year we did it, in person. We did about 3 books, but it was pretty much late. So we do call for these particular book clubs where you come and unpack your book, what is entailed in your book, and we have a nice conversation. And at the end, we have a very small, I'm not promising you much, a small networking session. So that is just an intention to keep this particular body of students lively and engaged. There is work being done under Prof. Bowman. I'll leave that one of a postgraduate magazine. If it is going to proceed, there is that kind of an effort that was undertaken. It much light into Prof. Bowman's space. I don't know how it's going to be taken forward together with Rebecca. And quite interestingly, last year I attended something called speed dating. When I was invited in it, I said that, what is this speed dating? I arrived there in my suit. I found companies. It was done beautifully by our CCDU, Careers Fair, kind of an arrangement, but catering for this market of postgraduate. Nicely dressed in suit, myself and Mobile, I remember, were there, nicely dressed. We thought it was a date. We arrived there. It is just companies setting up beautiful tables, beautifully done by Bongi and Anne at CCDU. So what happens is that all companies come through. You just have a quick interaction with them. And you just move around. You interact with company one. So it's a date between you and the companies, postgraduate students. And a couple of our students did get a date. Yeah? They did get a date. Some of them they did. So we thought it was quite a very nice and purely customized kind of an intervention. So, some of our students did succeed in getting jobs. So we encourage you to look out for those particular opportunities and do come through in a formal clothing to show that you are going on a date. If we do it again this year, surely we will. This is a busy slide. I'll just run over it. It just captures what falls under the Center for Student Development, which is just recently being approved. We are launching it. It's a bringing together of 3 units, which are student governance and the Wits Citizenship and Community Outreach and the Development and Leadership unit. I'll go in details shortly with each and every one of these. So your student governance office, it's mainly the office that looks into how the student voice at Wits gets to be organized. And how the student voice at Wits is organized is as shown in this slide, with the SRC, Student Representative Council, being at the epic top of the student representation, but the Postgraduate Student Association, which is the association that champions for your interest, is also organized under SGO. So there is a number of segmentations, including clubs and societies, the religious clusters, and all sort of clusters, including the International Student Sub-Council, that are being supported, nurtured, developed within our student governance portfolio, headed by a manager student governance. The Wits Citizenship and Community Outreach is just down there, the sanctuary, just next to the rugby field. It's mainly to look at the interests of our students. We know that our students, have challenges, as Brad had said, challenges relating to food insecurity, students going hungry on campus. So we've got a generous number of donors. So because you are postgraduate, I'm using this also as an opportunity. If you are in employment, please, we can do much more with contributions, because we are having a number of generous entities that are giving to us. They are giving us groceries which we package in food parcels to give to students. We give about 3,600 food parcels on a month to students so that they can sustain themselves, so that none of our students become become hungry on campus or become food insecure while on campus. We also have a Masidleni daily project, a meal project, through which we've got an NGO that we work with, which we provide hot meals to about 1,000 students a day. And I know that postgraduate students sometimes, those who are on campus, sometimes they say that, but why do we have to queue with students that I'm teaching? I'm part of a teaching assistant. Sometimes I must queue with the student. And I said, no, but why must we separate ourselves from what is truly happening in our lives, in our communities, the university? Actually, that could be an opportunity for you to interact with students while you're on queue. So let us be there. PG students also are students, are senior students. They can interact. Those could be an opportunity for you to interact with students. I know that that's possibly something that is debatable, but we believe that we created one holistic intervention for all of our students. We also do have food gardens that we've got around campus. We've got a big project that is also funded to help inculcate in our students the mindset of creating your own food, creating your means for your own food, and it's also part of our contribution to the whole thing about climate social justice undertaking. So please do look out of these support systems, and please do reach out in the event that you need support. This is much more about the support, very limited support that I just wanted to reflect that we are providing to students who are struggling with fees through hardship, which is mainly done on January. I know, again, it will be said that much of those are undergraduate, yes. But we do try as much as possible to support students as much as it's possible, the ones that are having challenges in terms of re-registration fees and all those things. Then I'll pass this slide. Why are we doing all these things? We want to make a transitioning across NQF levels very smooth and simple. Not simple, eh? We want to make it very, 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 very possible. Because when you start, if you walk into the staircase that is so much separated between NQF level 7 and 9 and 10, you might have problems. You might end up finding yourself breathing through the wound if the stairs are not so connected. You'll be exhausted and suffer some sort of a burnout. So that is why we're doing this. The ideal situation is to have small, thoroughly break out stairs to make you transition nicely from undergraduate, postgraduate. See these NQF levels as spread out as they are, succeed in doing what you came here to do. All this we do because we are mandated by the students' success framework, which has got 4 dimensions. That is academic support, material needs support, health and wellness, as well as needs for personal development. We want, while you are here at Wits, to be empowered with life skills, leadership skills, as well as to be included in a range of co-curricular activities on campus. Participate in our leadership awards. I'm glad that the student leader of the year last year is a postgraduate student studying PhD in science, so that it's not a preserve of undergraduate students only. When we say that we want the student leader of the year, nominations are opened. We want to see postgraduate students coming through. We were blessed last year to have Prinyanka raising her hand. She's doing a wonderful work in doing mentoring. Simple thing. Asked, what is it that you are doing to say you are a leader of a year? She's doing a mentoring for junior students. So we want you colleagues to be engaged and self-nominate and come and win that grand prize, and on that night have the Vice Chancellor shaking your hand and giving you a prize. It's not a preserve of undergraduate students. We also tend to student needs, as I said, in form of accommodation, food, safety, and all other material support. Academic support, we also do tend our passion in supporting you academically. As we said, that our duty of care, if there are challenges, we do not get into the student issues. If you come to us, we are nice at referring you. We'll refer you nicely. Go to Brett. Brett will sort your issues if it gets too difficult. But if there is something that the Office of the Dean of Students really needs to look into and advocate for, we are much more willing to have a conversation with you so that all your needs are attended to. Mental health and wellness, it's very important. As I've said, we do tend to those needs and take it very seriously. I will leave it here, Brett, and thank you so much, colleagues. Welcome at Wits and best wishes for the remainder of your studies. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks as always, Shekafatso. Can we take questions for Shekafatso and Bongi? Anybody have, I know we've been in here a long time and you're probably tired, but anyone write down a question or have a question for either Bongi or Shekafatso related to services or library? And people with the mics are going to have to help me because I can't see nothing in front of me. Missing any hands? Okay. Can someone take a mic there? Are there mics? Barely, but we can hear you.
With the how train routes, and I wasn't able to. Can you please explain how Wits integrates or cooperates with some of the other transport networks?
Okay, I didn't get the second part, I got the first part. The first part was about transport. Shekafatso, postgraduate cards, do they work on their buses for transport around the universities? We'll double check that for you. They should, you are students. So we will check that for you. And the second part? Yes? So how do you get from Park Station via, if you come via Gautrain into Braamfontein? Do we offer? So we'll have to check that out as well. So there isn't an integrated way of doing that. But the Park Station, that's a very good point. We will check that out and see what we can do with transport services. Thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions? I can hear, but I think you need a mic. Do you want to, sorry, because I heard that all, but maybe just quickly run through the beginning part.
Okay, I was just saying, I thought that also that there are such students who are transitioning into Wits who might not have had exposure at undergraduate, who might need that academic support. Just checking if you have specific dates and workshops where you would assist with that transition, especially as it relates to academic writing. Thank you.
Okay, so tomorrow's workshops, those of you that are doing Masters by Research and PhDs, that's the start of the kind of academic support program. that we're launching at Wits. But we do have the Gold program, which you heard about earlier, which was run mainly online during COVID. But that's all the faculties in the university all put their training programs together and make it available across the university. So if you go to the website and you look at Gold, you'll get a range of programs that you design yourself to be able to support you in those areas where you need it. So there are about 55 particular workshops, support structures, support topics, and then there's also the Wits Writing Center, which is mandated to help with academic writing. So there's a dedicated center run by Dr. Pam Nichols, mandated to support students for academic writing. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. So it's been quite a day, and I know there's been lots of information, but I'm just hoping that we wanted to give you a glimpse of what postgrad life is like at Wits from the center. So we're the center, we're the research office. Tomorrow, you'll get exposure what life is like at the more specific levels of your faculties through the online. Some of you are doing online, some of you are doing hybrid meetings with your faculty-specific staff. So this was really, trying to just give you a glimpse of what you can expect. But I wanted to leave you with a message that we really, really are invested in our postgraduate students, because you are really the knowledge engine that is going to drive the future of the Knowledge Project, not in South Africa, but globally. And we really are invested in your health as human beings. I want to keep saying that before scholars, before postgrads, you're human beings, and we have to never lose sight of the fact that that's where the intervention should begin and end. So we want to provide you with all the support we can, because we realize this is an exceptionally important, sometimes very financially demanding journey for you, for your families, and really for our collective futures. Those of you who are registered for tomorrow's workshops for PhD and Masters, try and get the best out of them. It's an experiment for us. Give us frank feedback about whether they work, how they work, where they don't work. Those of you that are registered for the cocktails, please enjoy them. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time. We hope that it proved valuable to you. We hope that you're getting a sense of where the university is moving with its postgraduate focus, and more importantly, that you're never alone. It may always feel like you're alone as a postgrad, but you're a community of scholars. Just in this hall at the moment, and then hopefully you hold this moment and realize that there's a community of you, and you're not sitting at your desk by yourself. So there are just two housekeeping announcements before I let you go. The first is that if you have registered for the cocktails and you don't have your tags, please can you proceed to the gazebo that is just outside the Great Hall. And those of you going on the campus tours, please, those of you who know where the AMEC deck is, where you proceed just to where all the buses are, follow the crowds to the AMEC deck, and you'll be greeted there by stewards who will take you on a tour of the campus. So with that, I'm going to release you. I hope that this proved valuable to you, and I hope you get a sense of where our focus is at the university. So enjoy the rest of your time. Enjoy the cocktails. Thank you very much for coming.